tutti. I'm Antonio Bevacqua. I come from South Italy, and okay, how I can go? Okay, and I'm CEO of Condomani, the condominium in your hands, or in Italian, Condomani.it, il condominio nelle tue mani. It is a social network for the management of condominium, and it's aimed for three kinds of users: the flat owners, the condos administrator, and the service provider. At the beginning, we was in three in June 2011, but we are now we are a little more. We work very hard, of course. And in this month, jump in the Asset Advisory Board two persons that are skilled about venture capital, and the name are Gianluca Rettori and Alessandro Santo. In this month, a lot of newspapers spoke about us. I think that Il Sole 24 Ore wrote an article about the software for the administrator and said that Condomani is one of the best. In the 31st of March, we will have a minute at lunchtime in the third Italian TV News, TG3. In this month, we won a prize on Tech Garage, and we was at Innovation Lab. Come back to the problem. We organized some workshop with the administrator, and they said to me, Antonio, do you know which is the problem? We lose a lot of time with the communication with the flat owners. We seem dishonest, of course. And what about the problem of the flat owners? Raise the hands who live in a condominium. I do. And who of you, when come back at home, if you find broken glass, signal it to the administrator? I don't. Why? I don't have time, I don't have his number, or someone other can do it for me. And I don't think that the last maintenance in my condominium was made by the best service provider. Anyway, in Italy, there is a reform that for us is like a Graal, because the competitors are not really ready. And for us, it's like someone invented the internet and we are Google. So we solved the problem with a social network for three kinds of users, using up just one time, of course, regardless who is your administrator, regardless if you are administrator, how many buildings you manage, regardless how many flats do you have. So you sign up, and if when you come back at home there is a broken glass, you can download the app from App Store, take a picture to the glass, and send it via Condomani to the administrator. He, on his browser, can send it to the best service provider, and in some hour, the problem is solved. You arrive at home, comfortably on your sofa. With your iPad, you can check the budget of your condominium. Why? Because the administrator in Condomani has all he needs for his works. Of course, maybe one of you can think, good idea, but not for these years, because in the condominium there are a lot of people that doesn't use the internet. No problem, because with Condomani, the administrator can send, of course, an SMS, a short message to my uncle. And usually, my grandmother forgot to pay the installments. What's happened? Condomani say to the administrator this information, and the administrator, with one click, can send to her a postcard, a letter under her doors. Do you know which is the interesting thing about this is that the idea was born in June 2011, and what I said to you is just already on www.condomani.it. In Italy, there are 1 million of buildings and 50,000 of condos administrators. In the States, the market is different. We look about the facility management. Anyway, in Italy, each month there are 60,000 on Google of research, like the Italian word of software condominium. And do you know which is the answer of Google is better luck next time, because these are the competitors. And there are some software desktop that the administrator has to install to his machine. There are some software for bidding, but nothing about a social for the management of condominium. In my opinion, the unique error of this slide is that Condomani have to say more upper and more right, but go out of the slide, so it's a problem. It is a freemium, free for flat owners forever, and now it's free, but not later for the service provider. It's freemium for the condo administrator. We are doing some agreement with important association. One with the bigger association of administrators. and we have some pre-agreement with the other service, with the association of service provider or real estate agency. Of course, with a good, with Google advertisement on Google, we can give an answer to the 60,000 research of before. We are on time on the roadmap because, of course, we have to begin. And we launched it on the last St. Valentine's Day on the web, so the people can buy it. But of course, we are just at the beginning. And we are not interested just on Italy, but with the other country in Europe. And if someone of you can say, okay, it's good for the States, tomorrow we can arrive there. Not tomorrow, but near. In the fourth year, we earn $8 million just with the software service to the administrator. But the real business model is another one, because we know that in the condominium lives a lot of people, geolocalized, so with the service provider we can give a lot of service. And here, five reasons to bet on Condomani.
Thank you, Antonio. Thank you, Antonio. You're perfectly on time. Thank you very much, guys. First of all, let me thank you, Ambassador Thorne and Sandy Polo, for having involved the Alumni Association of Lewis in this strategic project. Now I'll give you have Soma and Michele, you have overall 8 minutes in order to make your statement about the speech. So please, Soma, we'll start.
I also want to thank Ambassador Thorne and Sandy for an amazing day. Congrats to everyone for a really wonderful conference. So I think, first of all, I really like this overall market. We're a little biased because we're actually an investor in this space in the U.S. company called HomeSphere. So the whole idea of providing a way to connect, in our case, homeowners and home builders with actual service providers is a very interesting model. And if you look at companies even like Service Magic, right, that got bought for hundreds of millions of dollars, there's a lot of ways in which you can monetize here. I think the area that I'd like to probe a little deeper is what you think in terms of your business model. So you said there were 50,000 condo owners or owners in Italy. That was one of the stats you said, right?
These are administrators.
Yeah.
Condo managers. Yeah. So and the idea is
there are 1,300 and 1,300 more or less that are not professional, okay. And 50,000 that do it at unique profession.
Professional, manage multiple units. So now you're thinking of charging a monthly recurring subscription. Is that the idea? Is that the revenue model? You said there was like a tiered pricing structure, but so it's just a monthly recurring revenue. Is that correct?
Okay. The administrator have to pay each year
annually.
to use Condomani, and there are tax each year. It's a software as a service, so they have to pay.
So one of the things, and we were just talking earlier, as VCs, we always tend to focus on how do you make this a massive business. When I say massive in U.S. dollars, how can this be a $500 billion business? So take what I say with that little bit of grain of salt. But one thing I was thinking about, if you can think of other successful models in the U.S. that are targeting the same constituents, the condo owners, the actual people who live in the flats, the facility managers, the service providers, why not charge the service providers on a cost per lead basis like a Service Magic? Or there's another U.S. company called Yext. Have you ever heard of it? Y-E-X-T. I'm not an investor in either of these companies, but the idea is you can charge anywhere from $8 to $10 to sometimes $20 per lead that you're delivering the actual service provider.
Okay.
Is that something that you've thought about? It could maybe be in addition to the annual subscription?
This is just in late. Okay, of course. It's a good idea, and we think to this. Why at the beginning the administrator have to pay in the system? Because we don't have money. So the first user are the administrator, and we have to do money with the administrator. And just later, we can say to the service provider, there are a lot of administrators that use the system, so if you would give an offer, discount to the condominium, I say, you have to pay. But if I wait a lot of time, because I don't have venture capital now, I don't have money, so I can't. But you are correct.
So cost per lead is one thing to think about. And a lot of companies, even when we back them, they bootstrap, they choose one model, but you could, I think, quickly scale into a much, much larger business if you can generate targeted leads to the actual service providers. When you think, though, about those 50,000 guys that you're targeting, though, or even the service providers, how are you acquiring those customers? How are you finding them, and how are you selling to them and getting them on board?
About service provider, we are thinking a lot about the good strategy. we don't have a perfect strategy until now because the product was ideated just some months ago, so we don't have the real position about what we have to do. We are looking, we are understanding, we are hiring the customer, and we can say in some day, some week, okay, about the service provider, we will do in this way and not in another way.
Okay, so well, part of it is you have to find a way to get the service providers on board, but then you also have to find the actual facility, I mean the actual flat owners, the condo owners. Have you found, are you calling them up individually? Are you marketing through search engine marketing? How are you going to find those 50,000 flat owners?
Okay, just one thing about service provider. Now we are not push about service provider because you know, in Italy the administrator has their service provider. So if we put in the system a lot of service provider to begin, the administrator doesn't buy it because there is a service provider better than mine, and maybe I don't take money. How we will arrive to the market with the administrator? We are thinking about two strategy. We don't have the real solution now. From down and from up. From up with some agreements with the Condos Administrator Association. Mm-hmm. I was called after the article in Sole 24 Ore. I was called by 2 or 3 of these. Say, come in and speak about Condomani. Of course, I went. And the other thing is from down. The flat owners say we would have an administrator that use Condomani because he's more honest, because is clearness and etc. So they can say, okay, you don't use Condomani, I can search another administrator on condomani.it, not now, but in a few months.
Okay, sorry, because we have very few time, I guess. Michele, which is your statement?
Yes. So I have to say that is a very interesting area in Italy. I think it's difficult to move this service outside Italy because the models are completely different than in Italy. For example, usually you have facility managers that are doing everything and so on. So I think is a very interesting also because, and this can be also a problem, is a very intransparent world in this moment. And usually web, internet, these applications are really bringing transparency. So as you say, usually the administrator has his own providers. He probably gets some money. The flat owners usually do not like to spend money. So I don't know how many really will take the picture that will bring to spend money immediately. But on the other side, I think there is an enormous potential due to the fact that somehow you put all the people that are living in a condominium in a sort of chatting space, and also you are organizing them as a community. I think also this is a sort of potential for the future. So you have local communities that have and will have more and more value. So I think the area is really interesting, but I don't see many possibility to go outside Italy. I don't see also possibility for someone that is outside Italy to enter, because the world is very different. I see this in transparency as a big barrier, but also the great opportunity. So it's the real area where you have to work and to find a nice way maybe to enter. Don't put too much effort, I think, in the first phase on the money. On the money that the administrator has to pay or to make his bill more transparent, but work a little bit more on the community itself that this product can bring. This is my...
Okay, Michele, I guess we have no time. Just 1 minute. Okay, Antonio.
Okay, I can reply?
Sì.
Of course, I think you are correct. Just the time can say to us if we can do it or no. But anyway, we tried it with some user, and the user are very happy to use it. So maybe we think that they can do the photo and push the administrator to buy it in some way. But anyway.
Just one more comment. I think his comments on Italy, he knows much more about this geography than I do. But one other thing that we've seen work in the U.S. with we've had a few companies that focus on this market, is I agree, you want to have some capital that you get early through the subscriptions, but you may find much more value in getting the network effect of multiple people. And if you can create viral hooks to get people to, so now you have, say, a facility owner who says, okay, I have these people, get them to encourage, invite their friends, but also put in your 5 or 6 contractors or service providers who I use. Then I have my friend who also is a facility owner. I put my contractors, and you can kind of start building out that network more virally. That's just the thing, because if you're only able to charge, if anything, if they're paying $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 a year, you may find that the cost it takes to kind of individually call each person, get them on board, and then to actually get them to pay may be more, it may cost more than the actual money you get from them.
Yeah, okay, I understand. This is viral. At the end, it's viral, no? Because 1 on 5, and maybe with also gamification, you can write to more users.
Okay, thank you very much, Antonio Bevacqua from Condomani. Okay, thank you.